Lighting, environment, medical components, all of these things have to sing in harmony. Access to information, RFID, purchasing, making sure the right thing's there in the right quantity at the right time, and it means that better outcomes. It's better to have a good pace of operations and procedure in the OR and the recovery room than a hastily provided service and people running around. Sterility and cleanliness, we've actually got in our design many things that we can use to that end. Input as well. Celestial lighting, the surgical lighting system, shadow-free variable intensity and colour temperature makes a difference. Deep wound lighting capability, controlling via the ISE, integrated surgical environment software, iPad or interface. And we'll go on to that as well because we actually have titanium oxide impregnated walls which become bacterial defensive, and effectively it's activated by full spectrum light. So what we're doing is making the things work in harmony. And sterile. Radius corners. Why that? Well, if you have square corners, it's harder to clean. It actually means that we do have an automated robot that does some of the cleaning, and it can go around and actually do an 86 square metre OR to a very high clean level in 12 minutes. So we are in between procedures, we're able to actually clean very quickly, very well. Radius corners make in the surgical environment. We control everything by the iPad, and we have a table pod where we're not having things draped across the patient, tubes, cables, etc. going across. What we have is services at the table, not being brought to the table from hanging pendants. We have nothing hanging in the OR at all. There's no lights, there's no pendants, there's no gas. Everything comes from the floor or to the services. So it means you have a clear line of sight for the surgeon, and you also have less things being dragged across the floor before bringing into the sterile zone. So we have docking stations for anaesthesia, laparoscopy, arthroscopy carts. The pod in the centre is something that comes up underneath, so you can eliminate all of the equipment, all the cabling being brought to the equipment, so you have the pods coming up underneath. On the right-hand side, you will actually see our operating room in Barcelona. A number of the people in the room have been in that room as well. And that is not a rendition, it's not a computer-generated picture. That is actually a photograph of the environment. Nothing hanging from the ceiling. There obviously there's no equipment in there, but of course you wouldn't have the anaesthesia machine inside that circle. We actually have it outside the circle. There's only the surgeon, the patient, and the assistant inside the sterile zone. So less people, it means that the air is a better quality.
My name is Jacques Sars from Philips.
Hi, Philips.
I have a quick question on the Barcelona hospital. Can you say a few words on the air conditioning of this hospital? How the flow is going?
Yes. It's a low velocity air system with a higher velocity on the outside. It's 30 air changes per hour, and that's something that we find even when you go into the room, it's extremely quiet as well. And those who've been in the room in this room can actually kind of attest to that. You don't have that howling sound as you open the door or pressure. It's actually very, very kind of calming, and it has the higher velocity on the outside, the lower velocity on the inside, so it actually creates like the air curtain. But what I will say as well is that we're we're aware of also other aspects and collaborative partners that we work with certainly in the Netherlands and other aspects, and we are a very grown-up organisation, we like to think, and we are very happy to work with collaborative partners to bring what is not only needed but also wanted in the environment.